Well, with this episode, we wrap up this short arc and really just kind of feel like I know Killua and maybe where he's coming from, his background, his family a little bit better now.
Hunter x Hunter, episode 25. Can't see if you're blind.
Well, hello, my brothers, sisters, newly anointed hunters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesome, the unpredictable, I think that's really the one that's key right here, and the action-packed, the thriller-minute, the sometimes dark and brooding tale of Hunter x Hunter. And this be the 2011 version of the anime. So, you know, the last episode really, and it's kind of weird, but the last episode, things built up, and ultimately, I think the kind of the apex, the crux of it, and towards the end anyway, was Killua meeting with his father Silva after his grandfather Zeno had said, "Hey, you're free to go," and then you know, he had this heart-to-heart talk with his father, which had never happened before, and Silva also had mentioned he had never done anything like that with his father before. It's always been about the job, being an assassin. And really, it wound up being him saying, you know, go with your friends. It's cool. So, and then of course, Canary, the butler, the junior butler that beat the shit out of Gon, took Gon in company and is on their way to the butler's quarters. So that's how the episode left off. And certainly this one it's a tale of two halves. The first half is very much just Gon and Leorio and Kurapika being, you know, able to get reunited with Killua. Killua was escorted into the butler's quarters, and then by Godo. Godo, I believe, is the family butler. And prior to that, there was an exchange between Killua's, what I see as being a very crazy mother, and of course Godo, who's like the family, the head butler. And she just does not want him to go. She is beside herself. She's all upset, and like I said, I don't know how to read her too much, but Godo goes in and pretty much pulls an okie doke on Killua. He says, "Here, I'm gonna put you back in over here. Don't worry, your friends are on their way here. I'll tell you as soon as they get here." Well, when Gon and them get there, he sits them down, sits them down in a row. Gon right in the middle, and then Leorio to his left, and Kurapika to his right. And he does this coin trick, and he says, "I'm gonna see if you're." First, he does it just playing around. He does this thing where he tosses the coin up, and then he goes, you know, real quick, and he says, "Which hand is it in?" They guess him right a few different times, and then he says, "Okay, well now it's going to be the real deal. I want to see that you're worthy to be Killua's friends, right?" And what's going to happen is we're going to play the game. We're going to guess a hand, and if you're wrong, you're out. And if everybody gets out, you know, before we're done or whatever, I'm going to send you away, and you're never going to see Killua. You're like, "Okay, great, thanks, buddy." So then, and they don't really want to play that game. Then he goes and he has one of the other butlers pull out this knife, short sword it looks like almost, puts this blade to Canary's throat, who they know is their friend now. She helped him, and says, "Yeah, and if you don't participate or you take too long, we'll slit her throat." I'm like, whoa, that escalated quickly, right? It's like we just came in to see Killua. Anyway, the cool thing is that you wind up seeing more of Gon and his determination and just his resolve, and really just a good, true friend. Everybody winds up getting eliminated but him, and when it happens, his eye is swollen and has been bandaged over, his left eye, from just getting the shit beat out of him by Canary last episode. And what he winds up doing is, when he's down to just him, you know, he's the last one, and before the butler Godo can throw it up again, he says, "Hold on a second." He takes Leorio's knife, you know, and we finally get to see that in action, and he goes and he slices right across his eyelid. And what he does is, if anybody who's ever been in boxing or any type of martial arts, that's something that they'll actually do if you're in the middle of like a tournament or a fight. You can get a quick swell where it swells up so much that it can impair your vision, or it's pressing real hard on your eye or something like that and causing pain, and they'll actually cut you and bleed you. And that's what he does, and then winds up going and taping his eye open so he can have both eyes on this dude, because this dude's like superhuman. Like, I mean, I couldn't even do it. You know, the camera wouldn't be able to follow how fast it was. And then he goes, and for this one, he gets like two other butlers with him. They're all whipping their hands back and forth. It's really cool. And then he goes, and, "Okay, who's got it, right?" And Gon takes a second, and then goes and he's like, "The dude behind me." There's a butler standing behind him, and son of a bitch if he doesn't have the coin, you know. So I just thought it was pretty cool. Killua winds up coming out, everybody's reunited, they're happy. You know, but some of this stuff is really neat, how it's written, how this Togashi puts things together, because every time I think I know what to expect next, he does some weird shit. Like, I thought this was going to be all kinds of crazy, like, fighting and such for them to actually fight their way into this fortress to, like, get Killua and get him out. And things have just kind of gone in a whole different direction, just like with the fifth phase of the exam, you know, so very cool stuff. But anyway, so they're reunited with Killua, and that's the first half of the episode in essence, right? you know, he says his goodbyes, he gets on his way. After that, we wind up seeing that, we find out that what Hisoka whispered in Kurapika's ear during that 5th and final phase, and then he wound up, you know, yielding, you know, to him. I keep wanting to say her, but anyway, it's me, I gotta get over that whole thing. I guess he has some information about, you know, actually about the Phantom Troop, and he's going to meet him in York New City, September 1st. And there's some kind of huge thing that goes on there. It's where the most money in the world is brought into one place. We find out all this background and exposition, and from what I understand, it's supposed to be a really badass story arc, this York New City arc. And then I guess that comes up after the next one. So anyway, they kind of all agree. That's in like 6 months. So they all agree to kind of meet up later on. Leorio goes, and he's now got his hunter's license. He's going to go, you know, kind of start getting enrolled and study up for school and what have you to be a doctor. You know, Kurapika's going to go do some things as well. And then Killua and Gon decide they're going to hang, right? And that's where the setup comes in for the next arc. They sit in there talking about, you know, he doesn't have much money. The thing about it is, see, Killua doesn't have a hunter's license, so he doesn't have, like, an unlimited credit card. And Gon is like, I'm not going to use... There was also a significant part in this episode, I thought. Gon said he wasn't going to use his hunter's license for anything. He even came in on a visa, on a visitor's visa, into Parakia, the country they're in right now. Because he doesn't believe he's fully a hunter until he goes and gives Hisoka his tag back, and he's got to do that by punching him in the face, right? So there's kind of this cool exchange between Killua and Gon, where Killua's like, you don't understand, dude, like, your distance between Hanzo and you is like this much. The distance between Hisoka and you, or he goes to Hanzo and Hisoka is like this much. He's like, the distance between Hisoka and you, he walks like 40 feet out. Like halfway clear across, you could hardly see him, you know. And I just thought it was funny, you know. He wasn't trying to be insulting to Gon, he was just estimating, but he's basically saying, listen, dude, you got to train and get a lot stronger. So the whole idea is they're going to go and earn some money while they're training, and we don't find out much except for they're going to something called Heaven's Arena. So that's what obviously the next arc is going to take place in, and I believe that's the one that's sandwiched in between this one, the Zoldyck family arc, and then of course the York New City one that everybody tells me is great. So I'm gonna look forward to just getting into these and being able to crank these out over here, and man, just loving it, just absolutely loving it. My episode question, that's how things end off over here. We wind up, like I said, they're just kind of all split up and what have you, and we're going to find what's going on with this Heaven's Arena deal, and, you know, hopefully in the next episode as things start up. So my episode question for you, though, brothers and sisters, is, I guess, overall, what were your thoughts? It was a short arc, but what were your thoughts on this Zoldyck family arc? The reason that I ask is because I was a little frustrated when they spent a whole episode just on the whole guard dog thing in the testing gate, and then almost then a half of a next episode or whatever it was with them training to open a gate. And although it was neat and the animation is good and I still like it, it's not like it's boring me or anything, I thought that stuff dragged out a little bit, but then all of a sudden it just got to where you thought things were going to pick up and there was going to be some cool things happening, and then all of a sudden it was just like, oh, okay, cool, you can go. And to me, I don't know, the arc kind of fizzled out a little bit, I guess, you know. But it's weird because I don't want to criticize it and say it was in a disappointing way. I'm looking forward to the next arc. I feel like I learned a little bit more about Killua and his background, his past, his family, and I feel that was good. And it only took a few episodes to do so. But let me know what your thoughts are, though. If you loved it, you hated it, you were indifferent about it, let me know in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look forward to catching all of you hunters in the next Fun Nation.
Yeah, remember to check out my other channel and follow me on Twitter and Facebook as well.